Welcome back to the Ross Bolen podcast. I am Ross Bolen here with your beloved co-host Jared Borislow, a.k.a. J-Bones. Say hello to the listeners, Jared.
Hello, listeners. I'm J-Bone, and it's a beautiful Tuesday.
It is a beautiful Tuesday. Jared, we are an outlaw podcast, just two bad boys who stay turned up on the wrong side of the law. Everybody knows that. So today, we are starting the show with one of my favorite recurring segments to recognize one bad boy bird. Hit that fucking theme music, boy!
And now, Ross Bolen's Animal of the Week.
Fuck yeah. Our animal of the week is a flamingo named Pink Floyd.
Is his name Floyd and he is pink, or is his name?
No, his name is Pink Floyd, like the band. You know? From NPR, Pink Floyd, a flamingo on the lam from a Kansas zoo since 2005, is seen again in Texas. Hey, that's where we live.
Wait, so the flamingo is riding a lamb?
No,
like a horse?
on the lamb is what they say when you escape from prison or captivity, I guess in the case of a flamingo.
What does that mean, though?
I've never known.
Is it
L-A-M
Okay.
is how it's spelled, though.
like Bedlam? Bedlam? I don't know what Bedlam is. I just know it's a game that they play between Oklahoma and Texas.
I thought bedlam
Wait.
meant chaos.
Oklahoma
I thought it was
and
an
Oklahoma
adjective.
State. I don't know anything anymore, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, that is an Oklahoma State rivalry game.
And he is on the lam from Oklahoma, right? Oh, Kansas.
No,
Oh.
Kansas.
I tried.
Kansas Zoo. You did try to connect the dots, but you failed miserably. Pink Floyd, also known as number 492, fled from the Sedgwick County Zoo in Wichita, Kansas in 2005, according to the New York Times. It's another animal with a damn number for a name. 11 from Stranger Things feels your pain, number 492. When he and other flamingos arrived at the zoo from Tanzania a few years earlier, staffers decided it would be unethical to amputate part of the bird's wings to prevent them from flying since they were already adults, the newspaper reported. Instead, the zoo clipped the flamingo's feathers, what one staff member described as similar to getting a haircut. But in 2005, staff missed signs that their feathers needed to be clipped again, and number 492 and 347 flew the coop. The older I get when I read stories like this, I'm like, shit, dude, we really shouldn't have animals in zoos. Unless they're endangered or hurt or in some kind of like abandonment situation.
Yeah.
I think I might be a PETA person.
Well, I agree. If it's I think rehabilitation hospitals, like if the animal can't survive on its own in the wild or it was born in captivity, then I understand having it in the zoo because it would die otherwise.
Sure.
But like,
But zoos as a concept, still confusing now to me.
Well, these
and I love
flamingos-
the zoo. It's what makes it so complicated in my mind.
I mean, these flamingos were literally just chilling in Tanzania, and then they were like, "Nah, dude, you're coming to Wichita, Kansas." Like
Yeah.
that sounds awful.
So maybe I'm a PETA person, or maybe I'm just emotional today. Who knows? Anyway, this dude, Pink Floyd, has been on the run and spotted along the Texas coast for several years, officials say. There have been other reported sightings of the bird in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Wisconsin, according to the BBC. This
Wisconsin, a
gets
flamingo
around.
in Wisconsin.
He gets around. A flamingo in Texas?
That's
In
a good
any of
point.
those states, really.
Wisconsin's the weirdest. It's not a. I mean, Texas has tropical stuff by the coast. I mean,
Tropical?
it's near one of the tropics.
You been to Galveston?
No, thank God.
Pink Floyd is believed to be about 27 years old. Experts estimate that flamingos can live until about age 30 in the wild, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported. We're hitting all the different newspapers and news sources today, okay? You can tell I've really done my homework here. It's called hard work and dedication to the flamingo. Flamingos were long considered an invasive species in the U.S., though there is some question about whether the bright pink birds are actually native to South Florida. Now, that's a place I could see a flamingo having a time. Let's learn some flamingo facts, shall we, since we're here. Flamingos' nests are made of mud. A flamingo's nest looks like a mini mud volcano with room for one large egg. Flamingos are monogamous, and mom and dad are team players. Both help to build the nest and incubate the egg. Flamingo chicks hatch with white, gray, downy feathers and straight bills. It takes several years for them to acquire their signature pink color and hook-shaped bills. I didn't know that, so they actually look significantly different
You said
when they're
that,
born.
You said their nest is, it looks like a mini mud volcano.
Uh-huh.
You like to spank my mini mud volcano on the daily.
Yeah, that's a tight mud volcano that you've got there. Not so mini.
You can be tight and mini.
Tight and little is what I call it usually. Yeah, mini. Sure. Whatever. Flamingos get their pink color from their food, by the way. Flamingos really are what they eat, it says. Many plants produce natural red, yellow, or orange pigments called carotenoids. Carotenoids, maybe? Yep, that makes more sense. Give carrots their orange color or turn ripe tomatoes red. They're also found in the microscopic algae that brine shrimp eat. As a flamingo dines on algae and brine shrimp, its body metabolizes the pigments, turning its feathers pink. Jared, if you turned the color of the food you eat, you'd be poo brown.
What do I eat?
I don't know. I just feel like all the colors.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd combine into, you definitely wouldn't be the pasty fuck that sits before me.
What if
I wish my skin changed colors when I ate food. I'd go after like some, I don't know, get a bag of Jolly Ranchers and just have the time of my life becoming a chameleon.
What if I am eating paste like a fourth grader, and that's why I'm pasty?
That would make sense.
You don't know what I eat.
I don't.
When's the last time you ate paste?
Oh, back in the late 90s, probably.
Speaking of paste, one thing I would do, I didn't eat it, full disclosure, but what I would do is if you had the Elmer's bottle, you'd spray it a little bit so it went out the top and then it trickled down the sides and dribbled down the sides.
What was it about those Elmer's
and then
bottles?
Because you could peel it off of the little orange tip, and it felt so good to peel that off.
It's just the only time in your life you use those Elmer's bottles, and there's something about them it's nostalgic and pleasurable.
I just love peeling. I'm gonna buy a bottle of
Let's
Elmer's
get
glue.
one. Let's get some.
And just peel the little stuff off.
Let's get a whole box and just make a day of it. Elmer's Glue Day here at Bolen Media. Back to flamingos. They're also filter feeders and turn their heads upside down to eat. The term filter feeder may conjure images of baleen whales or oyster reefs, but flamingos are filter feeders too. They eat algae, small seeds, tiny crustaceans like the brine shrimp, fly larvae, and other plants and animals that live in shallow waters. And when it's time to eat, they place their heads upside down in the water with their bills pointed at their feet, sweep their heads side to side using their tongues to pump water in and out of their bills, and comb-like plates along the edge of their bills create a filter for the water to rush out while trapping the food inside.
It's weird.
Also didn't know that.
Why don't they just eat like a normal bird?
Don't know. Got to be different. It's because, I'll tell you why. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. They're just very flamboyant animals, Jared. A group of crows is called a
murder.
A group of geese is called a
flock.
Gaggle. Yeah. Group of flamingos is a flamboyance.
I like that.
It's fun, right? Yeah. Other collective nouns for flamingos include stand, colony, and pat. Yeah, so let's just cancel those and use the fun one, flamboyance, obviously. Also, flamingos can sleep standing on one leg. They stand on one foot for long periods of time, even long enough to fall asleep. Apparently, researchers suggest that flamingos use more muscle power when standing on two legs, so standing on one leg may be less tiring. Scientists also believe that a one-legged stance may help flamingos stay warm. Birds lose body heat through their limbs, and by standing on one leg and tucking the other under its belly, flamingos limit the amount of heat that escapes through their legs and feet. I've always wondered why they stood like that.
I mean, that does make sense.
And I do identify pretty heavily with the flamingos as we have similarly structured limbs.
Have you ever thought, like, when you're cold, to just lift one of your legs up?
Just tuck it up in there. Just get a good tuck, leg tuck. I'm going to try next winter. It's too late now. We're hitting 92 today.
Are we actually?
Yeah, in Austin, Texas. 90. It's happening, Jared. It's over. It's April.
That was fast.
Yeah. It's one of those things you beg for, and then it comes, and you're like, oh, this is what I was asking
It did snow once, though.
to return.
To get our full climate change,
Yeah, but we don't get spring. That's the problem.
No, we don't.
There's
at
no
all.
fucking spring. It just goes winter, summer, and it's kind of a bummer. Hey, rhyming is fun.
I'll give you a Hummer.
Okay.
I had to continue it.
Wow.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
I don't know. There's nothing else.
I
You
had-
could have gone with I want to drive a Hummer. Christopher Moltisanti drove a Hummer. You could have said any number of things.
Yeah, but I didn't want to drive a Hummer.
You just wanted to give one. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Next time you're getting a Hummer, think about just how gross your downstairs mix-up may or may not be. Have you started spring cleaning yet? The carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. Spring is sprung, and the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the best tools for cleaning aisle 5 in your pants. Time to clear out Clear out your winter bush and join the other 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping when you use the code RBP at checkout. Manscaped has the full package you need for spring cleaning this year. The Performance Package 4.0 is the only tool you need to keep your boys looking and smelling like the fresh tulips your partner wants. To start your spring cleaning, use the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to get the most precise shave on your hedges. Did we mention it's waterproof as well? No need to worry about watering your grass with this tool, equipped with an LED light too, so you know it'll be a major asset to the new shower routine. I know you shower in the dark, Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
It's dangerous.
Clear your holes and smell the spring air with the Weed Whacker. I've been using this thing to trim my nose hair. It's awesome. It's a nose and ear trimmer with proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. You know?
Mm-hmm. Those are some of the most delicate holes. Yeah.
After clearing your nose, make sure to get rid of that foul ball smell you have, Jared, your disgusting testicles, with the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver.
Thanks, I will.
The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. The Crop Reviver is a spray-on toner for your balls because you don't want them to be as pasty as the rest of you.
Of course not.
You want them to be toned and muscular, your testicles. Get 20% off with free shipping when you use the code RBP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code RBP at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits, upgrade your life. Finish off your grooming routine with the Plow 2.0, by the way, the perfect razor for the finest shave on your face, because if you're using your Lawnmower 4.0 on your balls and your face, you're doing it wrong. That's just for your balls. Manscaped.com.
You're not trying to suck on your own pubes.
Code RBP. No, that'd be weird. Some people might be trying, though. Let's not discriminate, Jared. Last night, Kansas completed the biggest comeback in championship history to defeat North Carolina for the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship. Their reward? The worst trophy in sports. I hadn't really realized this until my buddy Thomas pointed it out this morning, but man, that is a bad trophy. Thomas said, that could be the Texas UIL Math and Science Trophy. And yeah, there was no basketball on the trophy. Excuse me. At all. Like, it looks like they won a fantasy football league for upper middle class degenerates. Like, that's the trophy they hand you. But
is that the one that's like, it's wooden and it's got like the glass in the middle?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like the altar at my synagogue growing up. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the altar at my synagogue looked like.
Just low key, it's wood from a church.
And I'm not trying to remember that synagogue because my rabbi growing up got a
little handsy?
No.
Oh.
He got in trouble for using the discretionary funds of the rabbi for, I will say, for his own discretion. But I believe he bought things that people thought they shouldn't be bought with them.
Was it sex?
Well, I don't think the rabbi was buying sex.
Was the rabbi horny, Michael?
The rabbi was definitely horny.
Yeah.
Most rabbis are horny.
We all are, Jared. We all are. Anyway, congratulations to Kansas, I guess.
Nah, fuck Kansas. I don't like Kansas.
Does anybody root for that team outside of their state or alumni base?
If Kansas was so cool, Pink Floyd the Flamingo would not have fled it all those years ago.
It's hard to argue with that.
Here's the worst thing. They also stuck him in Wichita, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Which is one of the worst cities in Kansas because that's where BTK found, tortured, and killed and raped people.
Why'd they leave the R off his name?
Did he rape?
I don't know. Just tack it on there.
I would say I don't.
He did a lot of bad things.
Allegedly, I don't want to get in trouble for.
You think
slander.
BTK's people are out there just listening to podcasts, waiting to sue?
He may have bound, tortured, and killed, but he didn't rape.
Yeah.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Dennis Rader. It's his name. Isn't that
maybe was his name?
Yeah, you have like an altar to him in your closet.
Dennis Rader. Yeah, sometimes I wear that mask, that Dennis Rader mask. It's got the bald patch on the top for him. Looks like he's 77 years old, so he's still out there. Hopefully listening. Dennis, I hope you've enjoyed the show today, you murderous piece of shit.
We know he knows how to use a computer because that's how he got caught. He do you know the story? It's very quick and very hilarious.
Go for it.
So Dennis Rader was communicating with the police by way of various notes he'd leave around.
Right.
And one of them he said, "Hey, if I send you guys a floppy disk, could you like trace that back to me?" And they go, "No, Dennis, we couldn't do that."
No way, Dennis.
And he goes, "Okay, cool, bet." And then he
Fire
goes
it on over, Dennis.
And then he goes and sends him a floppy disk, and they just look right into the metadata on the floppy disk, and it tells him the name of the church and his name as the person logged in at the church.
Why was he at a church?
Because he was like the head of the congregation at this church.
Jesus, God. That's the weirdest thing about serial killers, how they like blend into society. It's terrifying. Could be any one of us, Jared.
Could be.
Could be any one of us.
I didn't think it was you until you said that.
Wichita. That guy looked like he might strangle you, though.
Wichita also, speaking of college basketball, the Shockers, you know what their symbol is?
Nope.
It's the Shocker.
Oh, wow. That's aggressive.
Well, that's the student symbol. It's not the actual mascot. The mascot's not just a hand walking around.
Oh, that would be fucking hilarious.
I don't even know. I think it's a little like weevil with a piece of wheat in its mouth.
Do they do the foam? That makes sense. Do they do the foam finger shocker? The shocker foam fingers?
I'm sure they do.
What is the shocker? Two in the... Okay, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. In other news, Selena Gomez...
What?
In other news, Selena Gomez is apparently living my dream and hasn't been, get this, on the internet in 4.5 years. First of all, do you buy that?
No, because she was literally on set filming many things, including the Only Murders in the Building. There's no way. She's also she's like on a phone in that show.
I don't know. From Entertainment Tonight, Selena Gomez has transformed her life simply by spending years off the internet. Simply? This is like splitting the atom in 2022. Holy shit. But anyway, 29-year-old actress and activist spoke on Monday's Good Morning America about her decision to better her mental health by staying offline. Quote, I haven't been on the internet in like 4.5 years, Gomez revealed. It has changed my life completely. I am happier. I am more present. I connect more with people. It makes me feel normal. Gomez added that it was her childhood stardom that led her to this decision. Quote, growing up in the spotlight has definitely taught me so much. I can't believe that I am where I am mentally just because how I took the necessary steps in order to remove myself from that, because it's just not normal. Jared, how long do you think you could realistically go without the internet?
Well, including...
If it didn't have your profession, directly tied to it.
If I didn't have my profession tied to it, I'd be one of those assholes who like had a brick.
But you think you could do it?
I want to do it. I can't.
I'm saying
you're making me not be able to.
How long could you not go, like, no internet? I'm talking no computer, no video games, no streaming, no internet. Is she counting streaming? Doubtful.
I would like, yeah, I bet you she's watching streamers.
Yeah.
Not watching like a TiVo.
She didn't say I don't
TiVoing.
use the internet. She said she's not on the internet. She's not on Instagram, right?
Yeah. I would like to go forever. I could go as long as I needed to. Read some books.
Oh my God, it'd be so fucking beautiful.
Jerk off to some Sears catalogs.
What, just go full old school with it, huh? Victoria's Secret, dig one of those out?
Sears.
Okay, Sears.
You ever seen, sometimes if you look in the industrial section, they'll have the A15 forklift.
Wow. That thing's sexy, huh?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Forklift operators are some of the hottest people.
I can't argue with that. The
thing about them is that they operate forklifts.
Never seen a bad-looking forklift driver in my whole life.
And if you want to see someone real sexy, you got to check out the spoon lift operators.
Oh, God, yeah. What about the spork lift operator? What is a spork?
What do you mean, what is a spork? It's a
spoon
spoon
and
fork.
A fork, yeah.
How about and then there's a spork knife, which is a spoon. It's a spork on one end.
That thing sucks.
And a knife on the back, but if you're using the spork, you're just cutting into your hand unless you hold it the
That's
right
what they
way.
give you in county.
Really? The
No,
spork knife? They probably don't
joking.
give you any kind of knife in county.
No, they don't.
Or fork.
The Selena Gomez thing.
What do you eat with in prison? You can get stabbed with a fork.
In prison?
Yeah.
I think they give you plastic silverware, Jared.
Oh, you can make a shiv out of that.
You make a shiv out of a lot of things. Toothbrush, toenails. You let them grow long enough. The Selena Gomez thing to me is only possible when wealthy. Because
I was thinking that too.
You can pay people to be online for you, right? It is my main motivation for getting money. Like one day, Jared, I will throw my cell phone into the ocean and live on the beach free from this waking online hell. I have a dream and that is it. But I hate, like, it's like when I talked about Aziz Ansari's little 20-minute special he dropped on Netflix several weeks ago, where he had a flip phone and had gone back to like where his phone only does text messaging and you have to really want to send the text if you're going to do it, right? Because you got to do the what is it called? T9 texting or whatever. And for him, the same thing. I was like, yeah, but, like someone is running your Instagram.
Yeah, I actually really don't like how all these fucking celebrities are flexing on us.
It's kind of bullshit. It's like, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We can't do that.
Actually, Selena, if you don't mind, throw me a couple mil. I can do that.
Yeah,
It is possible for me.
Another thing that's fucked up is that nowadays they're not even doing paper job applications. So if you want to get a job, I saw the other day.
Most jobs require you to have internet access of some kind at this point.
I was at the park the other day, and they're hiring like it was like $11 to $15 an hour, like an entry level position, and it was like for a park attendant or like like a park worker.
Okay.
And if you want to find out how to do it, you got to take a QR code. Not everybody can afford a fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
Or an Android.
Yeah. It's limiting.
But I was watching this. I think it was on 60 Minutes.
They're doing better though. They've started to make it so there's like affordable versions of the phone.
But there's a lot of people who don't have access to internet even. Like, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Like, people who live in rural areas during COVID, they're like, you want us to zoom into school? We don't have fucking internet. And they're going and sitting at McDonald's.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Because they don't have good enough fucking ping.
And then you got Selena Gomez going, I don't even want that shit. Like, it's kind of slapping these people in the face.
Yeah, I want to get there, though.
I mean, me too.
Where I want to go to there, where she is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, don't brag about it. Once you've gotten there, shut the fuck up.
If you're going to do that, you need to at least donate like a Tesla Starlink router to some person out in the country.
It's like, I don't want to do my dishes either, but somebody has to do them. You know what I mean? Like, for the time being, somebody has to do them. One day, maybe I can pay somebody to do the dishes, but until then, it's on me. But I got to get online, Jared.
It is.
All of the stuff is online.
It is.
The banking is online. The fucking jobs are online. Literally our entire job, though. Almost all of it.
Yeah. No, my screen time it's better than it was, for sure. Still bad.
Mine's better than it was, too, but it's not great. I'm trying to dip below 5 hours.
The only time that I'm like, I don't really count this as screen time. I do have a screen in front of me to like look at the rundown, but like, this is some of the most time away from a screen I get all week.
It's why I love the podcasting so much, because I get to sit here and stare at another human being and have a conversation with them for an extended period of time without having to involve any level of technology beyond reading from this one computer screen in front of me on occasion.
Yeah.
But good for Selena, though, I suppose.
No, I actually hate this. Like, you made me, at first I thought good of her, now I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is so rude.
Fuck Kansas and Selena Gomez.
Like, everybody either wants to not be on the internet or doesn't have access to the internet, and she's saying fuck you to both those groups of people.
Dude,
I have access. I just don't want it.
It is so funny how quickly we went from this is the greatest invention of all time. Information has become available to the world. This changes everything to, oh my God, take it away. Please make it stop.
That's the same exact relationship I had with my fleshlight.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Birddogs. Birddogs, making the most comfortable shorts in the world with the built-in underwear you know and love for living life and making love. It's like, why wear shorts with underwear when you can wear even better shorts with built-in underwear, thus creating less laundry, thus saving the planet, thus making you a hero who is also better looking and more comfortable. Birddogs, you silly bastard. But did you know they make pants as well for golf, for work, for going out to dinner, for going to the bar? I mean, you could just sleep in them too. They're incredibly comfortable. Work out in them. They're awesome.
I wore my joggers from Birddogs once for 5 days in a row.
The Birddogs joggers are phenomenally comfortable. They came out right before the winter, and Jared and I have been wearing them nonstop ever since. So if you love yourself some joggers, you can grab those from Birddogs as well. And what's more, for being an RBP listener, when you use the code ROSS at checkout on birddogs.com, Birddogs is giving away free whistling footballs like the Nerf football you grew up with and loved, but a Birddogs whistling football. Just use code ROSS when you check out at birddogs.com today, and with your order, you will receive that illustrious, beautiful orange whistling football. My Kanye West and Yeezy ban has officially ended, Jared, as has his alleged harassment of ex-wife Kim Kardashian. According to Page 6, Kanye told Kim he's going away to get help after his brazen public shaming of her on social media. Quote, Kardashian family insiders say West, now known as Ye, has agreed to stop harassing his estranged wife and cyberbullying her boyfriend, Skeet Davidson. What the fuck is a Kardashian family insider? What is that? They always say this.
Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, is it like... that's a business. They have God knows how many employees working between all the different family members. Hundreds and hundreds at this point. Any number of those people could just be one of that's a Kardashian family insider? You think they just leak this information? That's the beauty of it. We need a Bolen Media insider.
Cade.
And it's us, and it's just when we want to release information without looking like assholes, right? Bolen Media Insider announces Formula Bone has tripled in size since its launch. Like stuff like that, you know what I mean? That we can't really say without looking like we're braggadocious, which we do not like, just like former President Donald Trump.
I do not like people who brag.
Oh, man. In all seriousness, I hope Kanye finds the help he needs. I know how frustrating it can be to have your mental health mess with your personal relationships, and I hope the dude finds peace. Either way, unless he starts acting an ass again, I feel comfortable wearing his shoes again. Also, he won 2 Grammys over the weekend.
Wait, Donda won Grammys?
Yeah, 2. I think one of them was like Best Vocal Performance for Hurricane, and then Best Rap Song for Jail, which is an abysmal choice from the Academy there, I gotta say.
What about Donda Chant? Did that win anything?
The Academy of Grammys. I don't think that won, but that would have been a better choice to me. At least that had like some artistic meaning to it, over Jail, which featured Marilyn Manson and DaBaby, along with Jay-Z's worst verse ever. Just why? Also, Louis C.K. won a Grammy.
Wait, for what?
For his most recent special. Swear on my mother.
Was he there to collect?
Just don't jerk off on her, Louis. I'm serious, man.
Was he there to collect?
I don't think so.
Smart.
But I also don't know. Nobody knows anything other than that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Academy Awards, which was the weekend prior. But yeah, Louis C.K. apparently out of the cancellation enough to win a Grammy, which is just not really something I saw coming. But now I'm like, should I watch that special? But I don't. This is what's complicated about the situation. Like, is he okay? Is he still out there whipping his dong out?
Only one way to find out.
Like, that's what I'm, you know what I'm, if I watch this, am I complicit?
I just won an Oscar. Wait, Grammy?
Grammy.
I won a Grammy. Okay. So, audio. Maybe they only gave him the audio award, so there's no visual that you can, in your head, be like, that's the fucking guy, and look at his penis the whole time.
Kanye didn't go to the Grammys either.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, easy ban over, Jared. That's it. It's done.
I feel like you just ran out of other shoes.
I got sick of wearing the Nikes. I like them, but I'm more of an Adidas guy. It is what it is, and I like a lot of the Yeezys. It's disconnected from Kanye in my mind right now. Until he finds
God. Find God.
Find God. Find God. Smack that soundboard for me one time, J-Bone.
Grab your light. This is Stuff the Wikipedia when you're high.
Stuff the Wikipedia when you're
Today's Stuff to Wikipedia when you're high is the New York Yankees appearance policy. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Okay. It's one of those things that I remember hearing about offhand. I watched the Astros lose Garrett Cole to the New York Yankees, and then he immediately shaved and cut his hair, and his entire signature look was gone. He looked like a completely different person. And that's the last time I really thought about that the Yankees may have some type of rule in place. But it actually is pretty wild. Since 1976, the New York Yankees of Major League Baseball have maintained a strict appearance policy specifying that players' hair must not touch their collars and that they may have mustaches but no other facial hair. It's almost like firefighters. A lot of firefighter, what are they called? Stations have appearance rules like this. But that's based around the fact that, you're working in open fucking flames, man. Mm-hmm. This is baseball. Anyway, the policy came from then franchise owner George Steinbrenner, who believed that regulating his players' appearance would instill a sense of discipline. Steinbrenner began noting which players he believed needed haircuts when he took over the Yankees in 1973, but the policy was not codified until 3 years later. Steinbrenner's policy remains in place after his death and has led to a number of dramatic appearance changes for players who come to the Yankees from other teams, such as Oscar Gamble, as well as pushback from players who prefer long hair and beards. In 1991, Don Mattingly was taken off the Yankees lineup for a day when he refused to cut his hair, which is funny because an appearance policy was literally the last straw that broke the camel's back when I quit high school baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Don Mattingly, it turns out, actually have something in common. They were like, you're going to get a haircut. And I was like, I really, really don't want to. And they were like, get a haircut. And I was like, fine. I went and got a haircut. And I came back the next day and they were like, that's not good enough. Get another haircut. And I was like, okay, fuck you. I quit. And I've told that story so many times. If you haven't heard it before, then go back and listen to the other episodes of the podcast. Anyway, most teams did not formally adopt any grooming or personal appearance policies until the 1970s, as earlier social customs meant that players were generally clean-shaven. This changed in 1972 when members of the Oakland A's, led by Reggie Jackson, formed the Mustache Gang. Also not a thing I was aware of. That is incredible. After that point, individual managers began to tighten or relax their team's grooming standards as they saw fit. Steinbrenner's policy was inspired by that of the Cincinnati Reds, who forbid their players from growing facial hair between 1967 and 1999.
It's a long time.
When Greg Vaughn petitioned Marge Schott to rescind the rule. Former Yankees Mattingly and Joe Girardi have twice attempted to institute a similar policy on the Florida Miami Marlins, but restrictions on that team have since loosened. The Yankees policy has been criticized by sports writers as outdated and by marketing officials for limiting the self-expression of players, thus also limiting their personal brands. Players such as Andrew McCutchen and Clint Frazier have critiqued the policy after leaving the Yankees, while both Brian Wilson and David Price have voiced their refusal to join the team as long as the appearance policy remains in place.
Well, Brian Wilson's entire brand is about his beard.
Well, it is the one interesting thing about it. It is a little bit like, it's like your brand doesn't matter, ours does.
Yeah.
Right? Same reason they did the no names on the back of the jerseys thing, right? But for professional athletes in 2022, that's a little bit more difficult of a pill to swallow for the reasons they pointed out. Like, you tell me I can't have my look, my signature look, which obviously matters a lot to these guys. Baseball players in particular, man, especially when playoff time comes around, these guys like to do freaky shit with their hair and facial hair.
And maybe also with their pubes with Manscaped, code RBP.
Probably.
20% off and free shipping.
Exactly.
The reason why I'm familiar with this policy is because of Johnny Damon. Noted,
Boston Red Sox
leadoff guy, I believe, back in when they broke the curse
and went to the Yankees.
Very long hair, went to the Yankees.
Very long hair, very
off.
unshaven too. Not necessarily a beard, but like he was not clean shaven.
Went to the Yankees, was there for a while. Eventually ended up on the Rays. I've seen many Johnny Damon home runs in a Rays uniform back when my family had season tickets.
Wow.
By the way, I'm happy we're talking about Johnny Damon. A lot of listeners are going to love this. I have been, I want to say like roped into watching it, but it's one of those things where it's like now it's kind of on my own volition, but originally I was against it. I'm watching Below Deck Mediterranean. It's a reality TV show with the fiance.
Yeah, sure.
Where they'll every so often they'll have a guest you've heard of on the boat.
Okay.
And Johnny Damon was recently a guest on Below Deck. He's apparently a frequent Below Deck person. He's been on past seasons as well.
Okay.
But I'm watching season 5 of Below Deck Mediterranean. Johnny Damon came on. Him and his wife are absolutely bananas. You think they'd be like cleaning themselves up? They are crazy. His wife is wild.
What do you mean you think they'd be cleaning themselves up?
They're like famous ass people.
You mean they get fucked up and party?
They get drunker and party more than the people who are not famous who go on the show.
Hell yeah, dude.
Johnny Damon's an absolute animal.
It's the Damons.
But they also tipped really nice, and they're good people, seemingly.
How about that? Yeah, the Yankees policy is a little strange, though. It's like one of the more interesting elements in sports in terms of if you join this franchise, like you're required to maintain a certain look. And I mean, as we know with professional athletes, a lot of these dudes are, I don't know, how do you put it, dramatic?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised we don't hear about pushback on this more often, especially in the modern social media age where these guys are always trying to get branding to build up their value, right?
You can't talk about people getting branding. I'm watching Yellowstone now as well as Below Deck Mediterranean.
Oh,
so
shit.
You're
on the Yellowstone train, huh?
Yeah. Have you finished all 4 seasons?
Oh, God, no, Jared. God, no.
Okay, because
I abandoned ship. It's like a Western soap opera.
Western Succession.
Yeah, that's a little bit disrespectful to Succession, though.
So one final story about Johnny Damon and the New York Yankees.
Are they both in Yellowstone as well?
No, they're not in Yellowstone. Johnny Damon looks like, I know he's a man bun. They wouldn't allow the man bun. Anyways, he has a man bun now.
Can't fit a man bun under a cowboy hat.
Well, you could. One of the hats you totally could.
10-gallon hat.
Totally good. So my family, because we were season ticket holders, would always go to this thing called Joe Madden's Summer Social, right? Which is you pay a little bit. They usually open it up to the season ticket holders first. You pay some money. You can, after a game, you can talk to some of the players. They force the players to come to this room in Tropicana Field, make them come and talk to people.
Dude, I don't think people realize how often professional athletes have to do stuff like that. It's really, really funny.
It is.
Like, if you pay close attention, it's pretty nonstop. They're just constantly being wheeled from place to place to have to deal with people they don't know or like.
Yeah. So I've spoken to a decent number of past Rays, some of the most famous, Ben Zobrist. My brother and I talked to Ben Zobrist for like 10 minutes. Nice guy. That was
Sick.
That was before he got cucked, as we talked in the podcast.
Yes, we did.
by his marriage counselor.
Yes. Huge
He
bummer.
didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it.
Huge bummer. That's a bummer.
I really like Ben. I still
Yeah.
do. I don't dislike him just because he got cucked by his marriage counselor.
I'm not sure there are that many people who deserve to be cucked by their marriage counselor, but I hope he wasn't one of them.
He didn't deserve it. No. But it happened.
Yeah.
Nonetheless. Who else did we talk to? Some other people who didn't really matter that much. But Johnny Damon, obviously one of the most famous people on the team at that time because of his past successes in World Series, decided he was going to show up. Literally, his appearance was like a classic, like, he walked down the center of the room and waved at people, didn't stop for anybody to talk to him. He just kind of walked down the middle of the room and was just waving to people, right?
This is me doing the thing.
Yeah.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly. Now, my brother had already had a plan that whenever Johnny Damon showed up,
Right?
he was going to ask him a very specific question. And if you know my brother, you know that he has some of the more bizarre thoughts and actions of all time.
If you've never heard our infamous Borislow Brothers Patreon episode on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, that was a mistake.
Yeah, you got to go check that out right
Go
now.
listen to it now.
Now, you may remember past things my brother did in Tropicana Field, including telling John Travolta that he loved him in Wild Hogs when we saw John Travolta at a Rays game.
I do recall.
Now, this was another one. Johnny Damon walks down the middle. My brother sees him walking down the middle, clearly not stopping.
Right.
And my brother goes up and walks alongside Johnny Damon like a fucking reporter
I love it.
to ask him the following question. Because my brother had heard a rumor about Johnny Damon's former teammate Jorge Posada,
Okay.
famous catcher on the Yankees.
Okay.
My brother wanted to know if it was true. So my brother walks up to Johnny Damon, walks alongside him like a reporter, and goes, "Is it true Jorge Posada pees on his hands?"
Did he look at him?
Because the rumor is Jorge Posada pees on his hands to make his hands softer. He just pees on them.
Like, constantly?
Oh, yeah. Like,
Wow.
he just pees on. That's what he did. He pees in his hands.
Interesting.
And Johnny Damon just said to my brother, "I don't know anything about that."
So he neither confirmed nor
Neither
denied.
confirmed nor denied. He
Interesting.
did not say no.
Interesting. I don't know anything about that, is what somebody says who knows something about that, though.
That's what I'm
usually.
thinking too.
Have you peed on Jorge Posada's hands? Should be the next question
Johnny.
for Johnny.
Now, maybe if he's a little bit liquored up on his next below deck med and
There you go.
I get a pirate to board the ship and hold him at, I don't want to say any point. I don't want to get sued. Hold him at handshake point.
Handshake point?
To meet him kindly.
Yeah.
Not going to hold him hostage, of course. That will get me sued.
No, I don't think
Allegedly. All this is hypothetical.
yeah, of course. It's a comedy podcast, Jared. You know what's not hypothetical and not a joke? Elon Musk buying nearly 10% of Twitter. This guy has too much power now. First of all, it was a pretty recent development that he decided to be like pretty vocal, outspoken against Twitter's current policies, right?
He's like, "I don't like social media. We need a new social medium."
He was like, I'm going to make my own. Would anybody like that? And then I think he realized that's not feasible. So he bought he's the largest stockholder, I believe, in Twitter, like the largest public stockholder. And if you remember, they just put a new CEO in place.
Yes.
Jack stepped out.
I don't like the new guy.
He's just doing Square. The new guy has been throwing all kinds of crazy shit at the wall. And I don't think it's just funny to me that Elon was like, all right, I'll check out the new guy. Waited a couple months and was like, nope, that's not good enough. I'm going to spend billions of dollars buying a controlling interest in this company so that I can have something to say about it. And within 24 hours of the announcement that Elon had purchased a nearly 10% stake in Twitter, it was announced that their pathetic, poor bastard of a CEO is basically being forced, in my assessment, to put Elon Musk on his board.
Well, because if Elon Musk immediately turned around and just sold everything, the company's stock would plummet.
Yeah, so it's like, also you want to keep your big stockholders, guys that are investing billions into your company. You want them happy. You want them to have some layer. They're going to want to have some level of involvement, most likely, if they're putting that much money into your organization. So it's just funny because this guy didn't want that. I don't think there's a CEO in the world who's like, I'd love to be taking shit from Elon Musk every day. And that is now his reality. but also because Elon is like, I just don't know if he's built for the social media world like he is for the vehicle and technology and outer space rocket ship building world. Like the first thing he did was throw out the tweet like, do you want an edit button? And then the CEO of Twitter retweeted that, or quote tweeted it rather, and said the same thing that Elon said about voting on the poll about free speech. Please vote carefully on this. The consequences will be really matter or whatever. And then immediately the first response to that tweet was, for the love of God, no. People are going to change tweets after they go viral to say different things.
Yeah.
Which is an obvious reason there can be no edit button on Twitter. What if something gets 50,000 retweets and then you change it to like, I love Hitler?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Maybe they make an edit button. I'm okay with it making an edit button if you can change stuff before it's been liked or retweeted.
Somebody suggested that there should be like a 45-second timer or something on the edit button, like Gmail has, like to unsend something. But I'm guaranteeing you that's very, very complicated to install on Twitter. There's a reason they've never made strides in this arena. It's not just that Jack was a negligent CEO. I don't like that there's like 7 things at the bottom of my Twitter app now instead of just like...
Hey, you can join the RBP community if you want.
Yeah, dude, the community is popping off. That's one of the things that the new CEO installed. The 3 tweets so far are all from me. We have 35 members, and it is the hottest Twitter community going.
It's lit.
They have placed a heavy emphasis on the spaces thing, which I'm enjoying more and more. I didn't know you could listen to a space while you go and browse the rest of Twitter, which makes it really nice.
Why is the profile picture Joe with like the Legion of Musicians from...
I don't know. I really don't. I just I decided that we need to be taken seriously. We demand to be taken seriously because that community deserves it.
They do.
You know?
I mean, yeah.
but
you reveal podcasting secrets all the time, so I don't think you could be ahead of the podcasting.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, like I've said before, it is my favorite social media platform. So when Elon starts poking around in it, and I'm just like, oh God. But maybe he'll make it better. I don't know. He's just kind of like, he seems to be seeking out controversy more often than not lately. And I could see him doing stuff just to troll us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So, best of luck to all of us on Twitter. Happy birthday to Dennis, a.k.a. Chief Wide Nips, back on April Fool's Day. Happy birthday, Matt, coming up April 8th. We do an episode every Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. It is ad-free and available exclusively to supporters of our show who pledge a minimum of $5 monthly to ensure that we can keep doing our podcast, that our company can keep growing, that Jared and I can do our thing. So go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast today. Last week's Friday episode was great. There have been a lot of really good ones lately. Would love for you to hear them in exchange for your support. So go today, patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast.
We also have a preview of last week's Patreon episode up on the main feed.
Yeah.
Right below this episode.
Yeah, scroll down after you finish listening in a few seconds, and you can listen to that preview. And if you're like, wow, that was really, really good, I'd like to hear the rest, as you should, then you can go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast and do that immediately afterward. Follow us on social media at the Ross Bolen Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. We're almost at 70,000 followers on TikTok now. We're at 69.
Wow.
Nice. And on Twitter, at Ross Bolen Pod. At Jared Borislow on Twitter and Instagram for Jared, at WR Bolen on Twitter and Instagram for me. And we will be back Wednesday, tomorrow, with another episode here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. And then, like I said, Friday for the supporters on Patreon. Until next time, peace be with you, and also with you.